I'm seeing red. The hunger for war is in my blood. Hunger is flowing in my lungs. You can see it in my eyes. I am the phoenix about to rise. I'm seeing red. Do or die, alive or dead. Hear the voice inside my head telling me this is not the end. I'm seeing red. Do or die, alive or dead. Hear the voice inside my head telling me this is not the end. I'm seeing. I'm seeing. One man army under the gun. Locked and loaded. Here I come. Laying on your back. Always at the ready to attack. I'm seeing red. Do or die, alive or dead. Hear the voice inside my head telling me this is not the end. I'm seeing red. Do or die, alive or dead. Hear the voice inside my head telling me this is not the end. I'm seeing. I'm seeing. I'm seeing I'm seeing red. Do or die, alive or dead. Hear the voice inside my head telling me this is not the end. I'm seeing red. Do or die, alive or dead. Hear the voice inside my head telling me this is not the end. I'm seeing. I'm seeing. I'm seeing red. I'm seeing red. I'm seeing red.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Second Amendment Ranch. Just give me a couple more seconds. I wish Facebook would go back to their old way of sharing.
Everybody welcome.
I still need to go and delete some of these groups I'm a part of. Those that don't care about the show, don't want me talking, something like that, don't understand the purposes behind the 1700 somewhere show as well as the Second Amendment Ranch. So just give me a second. Today we're finally going to talk about Chicago's gun laws. Finally.
Yeah, that ought to be real interesting.
I know I was absent last week. The storm down here in Texas screwed everybody. I mean, it was just, we got busted pipes everywhere. You know, people are getting thousands of dollars of bills for electricity. That storm was chaotic for us. And a lot of y'all are making fun of, oh, you know, Texas talks big and bad, shit like that. We're not prepared for this stuff, man. We don't plan to have, this was first storm we've had in 122 years like this. So, yeah, y'all can talk all the shit you want, but it was chaotic to say the least.
Thanks, Richie. Richie's in the chat room.
Yeah.
Audio is good. Yep. We're got everything set up and running good tonight.
There we go. Alrighty. Finally got all the shares out that I needed to. So, for those of you that don't understand the Second Amendment Ranch and don't know what we really do here, the purpose is to eventually set up an actual ranch where we can teach people hands-on training with firearms, as well as run courses for people that want to run, like somebody breaking your house, stuff like that. This is a purely educational show. We will have more content hopefully soon, within a year, hopefully, where we're actually shooting, running people through different simulations, stuff like that. But right now, all we do is we try and talk about the different laws per state, go through the 50 states, talk about some gun fails, guns do's and don'ts, talk about personal experiences, anything like that. If you've ever wanted to come onto the show, you're more than welcome. Just keep it respectful. But I know we've been talking about trying to do Chicago's gun laws for about 3-4 weeks now.
Yeah, quite a while.
We've been trying to make fun of Chicago for a hot minute.
That's not hard to do, really.
It's really not. But today we finally have what we're going to talk about, and I've been looking forward to this. I actually have different statistics and everything. In fact, 3,800 people shot in Chicago through the end of November of last year. They've seen a spike of violence of 50% from 2019. Police had reported 716 murders through the end of November, which is a 54% increase from the 464 murders from 2019. You got to remember, Chicago is one of the highest gun law cities ever. They've got just the most ridiculous restrictions for you to own a gun and firearm. And we talk about this a lot. Gun laws do not protect anybody. They take guns out of law-abiding citizens' hands. Correct. So you expect, if nobody has a gun, the criminal will understand he's wrong and put his gun down. That was a quote from one of the politicians. You know how retarded that is? If you don't have a gun, if you don't have a means to protect yourself and defend yourself, you're just another victim. Plain and simple. When you can defend yourself, the aggressor is now afraid of you. You can't rely, it takes, again, the fastest time I think I've ever seen with police is around 4 minutes. And that's with them in the vicinity. It takes seconds, most of the depending on how armed you are, how trained you are, a couple seconds, maybe a minute, and you can get to your firearm. As long as you have laws that aren't restricting the dog shit out of you. But to continue on, officers recovered over 10,000 illegal guns back in 2020 through the end of November and made 6,600 gun arrests, which the police are expecting to be the 10-year high. So obviously gun laws aren't working. You've got over 10,000 illegal guns.
And those are from criminals.
So it doesn't specify. It just says 10,000 illegal guns. But that shows you that if you want to, or if you try hard enough, you can get a gun easy.
Yeah.
And so, these gun laws are beneficial. Why are your cities in such disarray? Why is there such a... You do realize if we removed Chicago, New York, and I think Washington from the 50 states, we go from being the number one in gun crime to like number 57 in the countries.
Yeah.
We dropped three cities, put us at number one for gun crimes alone. And these are the cities that have the most restrictive gun laws because criminals don't give a damn about your gun laws. Any gun bill that infringes on the Second Amendment is null and void. Marbury v. Madison. Any law repugnant to the United States Constitution is null. I can't remember the actual quote, but it's not a law. And anybody that tries to infringe on them is technically being treasonous against the Constitution. But we don't want to talk about that because we'll offend some people. I don't give a damn. Get offended. My Constitution. People always say, well, is freedom more important than safety? Yes, it is. Because when you're free, you are able to defend yourself and provide safety for yourself. When you take away your freedoms, rights, and liberties, you have to rely on another power to defend you. And in doing so, you put a bigger burden on those that are supposed to defend you. And if those people are corrupt, and I'm not saying all police are, don't take it that way. But if they're corrupt, they may not care. You know, they may not be in the area. They could be responding to another dozen calls because, again, looking at Chicago's huge amount, 3,800 people shot in a year. Let's do some math. Let's just put that into perspective. 3,800 people. Here's my calculator. 3,800 divided by 365. That's 10.4, so almost 11 gun crimes a day. Yeah. Just to give you some perspective on that. The overall crime numbers, including murder, robbery, sex assault, theft, burglary, fell 7% compared with the end of November. So those other crimes are reducing, but gun crimes are up. The reports of theft are also down 27%. And police said they've seen a dramatic reduction upon overall crime, but again, their gun crimes are up 56%. Chicago police officers had been shot 71 times in 2020. 10 officers had been struck by bullets. In the same period, 2019, officers were shot 18 times, with 3 officers struck by gunfire. 3 police officers were shot when a prisoner opened fire at a police station. The police department has also been hit with the COVID-19 infections. The Chicago is among the many major U.S. cities experiencing a jump in gun violence and murders. New York had 405 homicides through mid-November compared to the 295 over the same time last year, so 2019. So they're up 37% as well. The jump in Chicago violence has been so great, the city could possibly have as many murders as 1998. Which were tied at 715. So you have massive, yes, other crimes are down, but there's such a substantial spike in the remainder of the gun crimes that it does really nothing. Gun laws, again, they don't help anybody but the criminal. And I talked about it when we were talking about the Texas laws, how there was a bill being introduced. I think it just died. Nobody has seen anything since, but they were trying to push a bill that said that Texans can no longer defend their property. If somebody breaks into your home, you have to vacate the premises and basically allow that criminal to go through your belongings, which is absolutely retarded. Do you know how many Texans have firearms? A lot, because we don't have to register. In fact, we, even without having to register the amount of firearms, Texas still comes in at number 18 in the United States, is the most armed state. And that's without having to register firearms. So out of 50 states, we still make the top 20 and we don't have to register. So any gun that had to be registered, so any class 3 firearm, somebody that has bought a suppressor. And if you buy a suppressor, most of the time you've got more than one gun.
Right.
You still come in at number 18. So that should tell you something. That law would just it's stupid to think somebody would try and pass a law that says, oh, no, you can't protect your property. You have to vacate. Well, what if you've got kids? What if you've got pets? You know, you expect me to just leave those in the home with a criminal and not do something about it?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't happen.
No, you are high if you think that. But the reason we wanted to do kind of an article over Chicago's gun laws is because there is a lot. It's 2 hours may not be long enough. And I'm going to try and make it as interesting as possible for y'all, because gun laws are boring. We don't care about them. A lot of people think they're stupid anyways, but you need to know your laws in case. And again, we are not lawyers. We are not trained. This is what you can find. And most of the time, Google right now, I've covered on It's 1700 somewhere, they are biased, so they don't want to show you specific things. And I've found that gun laws are very, very hard to find in-depth information on. And I'm not quite certain why that is. That shouldn't be one. I can see being politically biased and trying to hide that, but why are you trying to hide people being educated over gun laws? So, but to legally possess firearms and ammunition, Illinois residents must have a firearms owner identification card, which, if you don't know, HR 127 is basically going to require every American to have that card, and they have to renew it every year. And if you don't, you're a felon. And we covered that article about a month ago, HR 127, and how terrifying that bill would be if it got passed. And we've already seen that the leader of the free country right now is looking at pencil whipping that bill in.
Right.
And he himself has stated the only person that leads by executive orders is a dictator, yet he has signed in more executive orders than any president in history in his first month. I think he's at 50 already.
Yeah, and he don't know half of what he's signing.
No, we've got him saying, I don't know what the hell I'm signing. He just signed it anyways. And he puts a signature on it. That should terrify the shit out of everybody. Republicans and Democrats, libertarians, conservatives, everybody. That should terrify the shit out of you.
Yeah.
But the FOID, the Firearms Owner Identification Card, which is issued by the Illinois State Police to any qualified applicant, non-residents who may legally possess firearms in their home state are exempt from this requirement. The state police issue license for the concealed carry of handguns to qualified applicants aged 21 or older and require a 16-hour training course. However, any law enforcement agency can object to an individual being granted a license based on any reasonable suspicion that the applicant is a danger to him or herself. So basically, if you come in looking like dog shit and try and get your FOID card, and they think you might be suspicious, they themselves can go, no, you're not going to get one. The police can literally say, no, you can't defend yourself.
Yep.
So they're taking firearms away from things that can't. Now, don't get me wrong. I think some gun laws can be beneficial. Can be. But I would rather see a constitution lived up to its full expectations and not have any. That means, yes, you're going to have suicides by guns. It sucks. It's terrible. I'm not saying it's a good thing. But I would rather have my freedoms and risk that over you take away my freedoms and now we live in communist America.
Right.
Objections are considered by a concealed carry licensing review board. The state police issue the license for which decides whether or not the license will be issued. So even when you apply, the police can deny you right there, and then it goes to a review board, which they can deny you. Licenses issued by any other states are not recognized except for carrying a vehicle. Open carry is prohibited in most areas. When a firearm is transported by a person without a concealed carry license, it must be unloaded and enclosed in a case or broken down in a non-functioning state or not immediately accessible. Which means if you're driving and somebody is aggressive towards you, and we talked about this as well, there was Antifa that blocked a driver in. He went through the crowd. He tried to as slow as he could. They started attacking his vehicle, his or her vehicle. I'm not sure if it was a man or a woman. Started attacking their vehicle, and he got through, and they jumped in a truck, cut him off, crashed his car into a light post, and started assaulting him there, which technically by law on most states, or on some states, now some of them are coming around to the stand your ground law. But still, if you have the means to flee, you should flee. If you have the means to run, you should take those. Don't use excessive force until necessary, which at this point in time, it's necessary. You took away my means to escape and started assaulting me. So technically, I'm well within my rights to use my firearm, even if I don't have a concealed carry license. But with how this state has set it up, if you don't have a concealed carry license, your gun can't be loaded, can't be accessible, can't be seen. Now, again, Texas, you can't have your firearm be seen, but it can be loaded. It falls under the castle law. I can understand not having it seen, but it should not be restricted to the point where I can't have my gun loaded. I should be able to have it in my center console, readily accessible, for use if needed, for, again, if a situation where they cut me off like this and start trying to rip me out of my car, I can defend myself.
Right.
For private sales, the seller must verify the buyer's FOID card and keep a record for at least 10 years. Lost or stolen guns must be reported to the police, which is common sense. There's a waiting period, unless you lost them in a boating accident. There is a waiting period of 72 hours to take possession of after a firearm. Possession of automatic firearms, short-barreled shotguns, or suppressors is completely prohibited. Possession of short-barreled rifles is permitted for only those who have the ATF Curios and Relics, Illinois. Is permitted for only those who have an ATF Curios and Relics license and are a member of the military reenactment group. Okay, that's weird. That's a weird law.
Yeah.
The state does not restrict the sale or possession of firearms that have. This state does not restrict the sale or possession of firearms that have been defined as assault weapons or of magazines that can hold more than a certain number of rounds of ammunition, but some local jurisdiction do treat them as so. So you can't. They're not as restrictive as California on your ARs, but overall their laws seem to be a little more restrictive. I know in some states, I know in at least Texas, I can own a short-barreled rifle with no problems. I can also own a short-barrel shotgun with appropriate certificate. And that takes about the same waiting period as it would for a suppressor. And we've talked about suppressors a lot. The restrictions on suppressors is just a joke entirely.
Yeah. It is. I mean, suppressors aren't all what they're all cracked up to be to begin with, and waiting and doing all that's just, it's ridiculous.
You will never hear me call a suppressor a silencer.
No.
Because it's not a silencer. It's not. By any definition, it suppresses the noise. It does not silence. The only firearm caliber that it really silences is going to be your 22 LR and 17 Hammer. And those are itty bitty. Just I thought I had some over here. I guess I took them downstairs finally. Those are, about the length of a 9mm, but half the diameter at best.
Oh, so, yeah, way half.
It's good for squirrels, rabbits. It's about it. So it's not this massive caliber. It's not even a 5.56, which that's a small caliber. But any other caliber you put a suppressor on. The purpose of it is to defend your ears. It makes you can fire off a suppressed gun basically most of the time without hearing protection. I say most of the time. There are some calibers that still ring a little bit, and you can get like subsonic ammo, which is a lesser loaded ammunition. But even still, you distinctly know that's a gunshot. You can tell, hey, that was a gunshot. It may not be as loud, but movies have made suppressors out to be silencers, and they're these big bad scary thing that you can go into any building, shoot somebody, and nobody's going to know. No, they're going to know. Everybody's going to know. So the restrictions on silencers and or suppressors is just chaotic. Continuing on, the FOID card to legally possess the firearm, they must. When a firearm is sold or transferred, the buyer is required to present their FOID card. This applies to private sales between individuals as well as sales by licensed FFL holders. For firearm sales by an FFL holder or at a gun show, the seller must perform an automated dial-up check with the state police to verify the FOID card is valid and redo the background check for the buyer. The additional checking is known as the Firearm Transfer Inquiry Program. For the private sales not at a gun show, the seller must also verify the buyer's FOID card with the state police and receive a transfer approval number. So even if you buy a gun from a guy that isn't licensed, like you go buy a used gun, you still have to get the police involved and get it transferred. Most of the time, at least I know in my state, you can buy the gun and then go to a gunsmith, anybody with an FFL, and then have it transferred to you.
Right.
You don't need the police. You don't need the other person there. It's as long as you have their information, it's your gun now. The buyer is also required to present their FOID card when purchasing ammo. Why? I can kind of understand for them wanting to keep track with the firearms, but if they have the gun already, I mean, and again, you can order ammo online, have it sent to a buddy's address across state lines, go pick it up, and nobody cares. So
Right.
that does absolutely nothing for you. It doesn't. That restriction is a joke to require that for ammunition. But again, the HR 127, that'll also be on there. You have to get permission to buy ammunition across all 50 states. That's why this bill needs to die. An FOID card does not authorize the carrying of a concealed firearm, but having an FOID card is a prerequisite for obtaining that concealed carry license. Some back ass words bullshit there too, because a concealed carry license, you have to do training. That training should count towards your FOID requirements if you're going to do that. Now you're requiring a 16-hour course plus another, what is that? I think an 8-hour course to get your concealed carry license.
Right.
So now you're at 24 hours?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Of just requirements to defend yourself.
Did you see that question I put up there?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I'll put it back up.
Do any antique pre-NFA banned firearms have enough material to CNC a lower out of them? I'm trying to find a loophole. I would not know about that.
I wouldn't either.
To CNC a lower out of them. I think the M1A Grand might, but that's, I mean, there's not really much you can modify out of that in the first place.
That'd be about the only one.
You know, because you're not going to be able to CNC a shotgun. If you're looking for any military style like weapons, the M1A,
Right. Especially in the antique form.
yeah, that's basic because you're looking at the grease gun, which is basically a 45 caliber fully automatic.
Piece of crap.
Yeah, pretty much.
I
Anything.
shot one in the military. You're a joke. That was a blast, though.
Oh, I'm sure it was. I don't think the only one I could see would be the M1A Grand. If you're looking for pre-ban, which is 1980, I want to say 1985.
He
Yeah,
says he's thinking of a cannon. Yeah.
Canon would 100% have enough material for you to.
Oh,
do.
yeah.
Canon would 100% have enough material for you to do that. Now, let me ask, what state are you out of so I can kind of understand your laws and restrictions? Because again, if you live in some of the more restrictive states, basically any lower you're found with could be a felony offense.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be very careful with how you CNC anything. Then you have to look at, are you a licensed firearms FFL holder? Because if you CNC a lower for a firearm and you're not licensed to do so, they can come after you for that as well. You for whatever fucking reason. And I love seeing these people post YouTube videos and, oh, this is how you make this gun and shit like that. You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't show them you can make guns. Don't do that.
No,
Because
because
if
you
you're
go right on their radar.
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
Mm-hmm. Don't do it unless you're a licensed firearms individual.
Oh, it's like all the people showing how to make a 3D printed gun on YouTube. I was like, are you idiots?
That's like, and I've talked about it once before, that's like going and buying the fuel filters that they're showing everywhere right now. Tell you, that is a scam from the government. If you buy that filter, you're on a list right there. They know what it is. They're not retarded. As much as I'd like them to be retarded for how they try and handle laws and everything, they're not. So if you buy this, Colorado tax stamps are exempted here. Just a hypothetical. Is it okay to make it lower for private use only? Technically, no. Even still, if you're not a licensed firearms individual, like I know Aaron Childress, he makes 80% lowers. He would have more information about that.
Right. I'd reach out to him and find out.
But there's only a certain amount of material you can CNC out of a lower before it because the ATF doesn't restrict an AR. They don't. They restrict the lower. That's it. That's the only thing that has to be registered. The upper is not. You can buy an upper online and have it shipped to your house in most states. The lower is what's actually restricted. They call any lower that's 100%. They call a firearm. It might not be able to fire anything, but that's what they call the firearm, which is just ridiculous. But you can CNC up to 80% as an individual. Up to 80% you can CNC out as an individual. When you want to start running your trigger, when you want to start running the selector switch, stuff like that, when you want to make it 100%, then you have to have your FFL. So again, 80% is what you can legally do before you run into problems. So that might help you a little bit, but I'm not quite sure what you're trying to do. Don't commit any crimes and tell them we sent you, please.
No.
We don't have nothing to do with that. But that's just some of the things you have to look at, especially if you're looking at CNCing your own materials. And it's not worth, in all honesty, getting your FFL to CNC at 100% lower for personal use one time. It's not worth it. You're looking at about a $10,000 license.
Right.
So it would be easier to go and find a small mom and pop shop FFL holder that can CNC the material out for you and going through them. don't go to the big shops. Most of the time when you go to a small mom and pop shop, they do pretty good at keeping things hush hush.
Exactly.
Auto
What he's saying.
burst control groups, because like you said, it's only the law. Yeah. You can still get materials to make a fully automatic firearm. You can still buy those, but you can't put them in a gun.
Nope.
You can have them, you can look at them, you can call them pretty, but the second you put them in a gun, you're in trouble. Now, continuing on, we'll keep interacting with you. I'm just going to continue on with some of these laws. Carl, you will have to post up his comments for me because, again, your StreamYard, I can't see what he says.
Oh, okay.
Unless I get logged in on yours and then I log out of the other one. It's just stupid. As far as concealed carry goes, the Illinois State Police Department issues licenses for the concealed carry of handguns to qualified applicants age 21 or older who pass a 16-hour training course. Illinois law says that the state police shall issue a license to a qualified applicant. However, any law enforcement agency can object to an individual being granted a license based upon the reasonable suspicion that the applicant is a danger to himself, herself, or others. Objections are considered by a concealed carry license review board, which we covered before, which decides whether or not the license will be issued. A preponderance of evidence, looking at them and calling them pretty, I only got a little bit of that.
Yeah, that's all right.
Under revised rules implemented in July of 2014, the review board notifies the applicant by mail of the basis of the objection and identifies the agency that brought it. So it's still, they don't even give you the courtesy of calling you or emailing you. So they send you a letter in the mail, which we all know snail mail sucks, of your status. So you could be applying for your concealed carry and it could be 3, 4, 5 months before you see anything. And that could be yes or no. And then then you have to object. And that could take another couple months. In order to apply for the license, the applicant must have in their possession the certificate from the required training, a valid driver's license or a state ID, valid FOID card, a head and shoulder electronic photograph taken in the last 3 years, 10 years of documented residency. So you've got to be a resident in Chicago or Illinois for 10 years before you can even apply for your concealed carry license. 10 years. That's ridiculous. Fingerprints and the application fee. Permits cost $150 for residents, $300 for non-residents, and are valid for 5 years. An Illinois resident is defined as someone who qualifies for an Illinois driver's license or state identification card due to establishment of a primary domicile in Illinois. Non-resident is someone who has not resided in Illinois for more than 30 days and resides in another state or territory. Non-residents may apply if their state is on a list of states with laws related to the firearm ownership, possession, and carrying that are substantially similar to the requirements to obtain a license in Illinois. Non-resident applicant must also possess a carry license or permit from his or her state or resident if applicable. Prior to 2017, the Illinois State Police considered only Hawaii, New Mexico, South Carolina, and Virginia to qualify as substantially similar. In February of 2017, the list of substantially similar states changed to Arkansas, Mississippi, Texas, and Virginia. Idaho and Nevada were added to the list in 2020. Illinois concealed carry licensees from the 3 states removed from the list of approved states received letters stating that the licenses were no longer valid. Concealed carry permits or licenses issued by other states that are not recognized, except that non-residents in possession of a carry permit or license from their home state may carry in the vehicle while traveling through Illinois. And that's one reason I really have problems driving different states. Their gun laws can screw you. Like if I were to travel to California right now with my guns, and that's just straight through, we're not going to consider any other state's laws or requirements and restrictions. If I were to go, hell, even Chicago, if I were to go up there, ignoring the other states and their laws. As soon as I enter that state, I'm a felon.
Yeah.
With the guns I have, I'm a felon. I'm not getting a California compliant AR lower grip. I'm not getting that crap. And if you missed that episode 2 weeks ago, we showed what the California compliant AR looks like. And they're hideous and they're uncomfortable. And we could not find a reasonable way to hold that firearm comfortably.
No.
So I'm not doing it. Get bent. And I got a buddy that's wanting to move to California. I'm like, don't fucking do it. Concealed carry is prohibited on public transport at a bar or restaurant that gets more than half of its revenues from the sale of alcohol, at a public gathering or a special event that requires a permit, i.e. a state fair or festival. Cop out of state CC. Oh, yeah, that would go real well.
Oh, wouldn't it though?
Because they don't. A lot of police, and what I've seen is they're not informed on most law. I don't think a cop's training should be less than a beautician's. If you want to be a police officer, you should be more educated than the average public on the laws you have to enforce. And I've seen a lot of controversy. I love watching those the cop blocker videos because they try to educate the police. They use their freedom of the press, freedom to photograph, different things like that, freedom of speech, freedom of protest, and they educate the cops. Most of the time, some of them get arrested and sue the hell out of the city because those police officers were just not informed enough.
Right.
And if you were to take a concealed firearm to Chicago and have a license, but it's out of state, they're more than likely not going to understand that license and not recognize it. You will get arrested. You will have to get a lawyer, and then you can sue the shit out of that city. Continuing on, special events that require permits at a place or a place where alcohol is sold for special events, and on private property where the owner has chosen not to allow it. So in Texas, you can have a bill posted, and if you don't have this bill posted, you can only ask the individuals to leave. It's not a crime, but there are certain buildings that say, yeah, damn it, Richie. Point proven. There certain buildings will have like a bill posted that you can't have firearms, and it'll have the actual code listed. As long as it has that code listed, it is illegal to be in that building with a firearm. However, if they don't have that bill listed, it's not illegal to be in that building. They can say it is, it's not. If they don't have that bill posted, they can only hit you with trespassing. And as long as you leave when asked, no problems can come of it.
Right.
So if they start to harass you, you need to leave, just show video, start recording. Yeah, I'm heading out right now. We've already asked you to leave. Where the fuck do you think I'm heading? You asked me to leave. You saw I had a gun on me. I'm gone. Get evidence, because then they can hit you for trespassing. But that's it. That's the only problem you're going to be. As long as they don't have that bill posted, they can only hit you with trespassing. Concealed carry is also not allowed at any school, college, or university, preschool, or daycare facility, government building, courthouse, prison, jail, detention facility, hospital, playground, park, Cook County Forest Preserve area, stadium or arena for college or professional sports, amusement park, riverboat casino, off-track betting facility, library, zoo, museum, airport, nuclear facility, or a place where firearms are prohibited under federal law. Holy crap, that was a mouthful. That's a lot of places you can't carry.
Right.
However, concealed carry holders who are in the parking lot of prohibited areas, except for nuclear facilities, are allowed to carry a concealed firearm while they're in their vehicle and to store their gun locked in their vehicle and out of plain view. So as long as you're not at a nuclear facility, you still have your gun on you, but you have to leave it in the car. Which is, I can understand a lot of those places, especially, any place with alcohol. Guns and alcohol don't mix. I've had a gun pulled on me with a guy that was drunkard and shit twice. It's a great fucking experience, let me tell you. Actually, one of them was another sailor. Made it all the better. I should have just beat the crap out of that guy. On February 1, 2018, the Supreme Court unanimously ruled that the state's ban on the possession of firearms within 1,000 feet of a park was unconstitutional. Holy shit, they finally got a win. So you can be within 1,000 feet of the park, but you can't be in the park. If y'all want me to tell you about my gun experiences, having them pulled on me, just let me know, or let Carl know in the comments, and he'll tell me.
Oh yeah.
When a license holder is carrying a concealed handgun, with you wearing an empty holster, yeah, I can. They know you've got a gun, but get bent, it's empty.
Yeah, but a lot of them have problems with that. They're going, okay, where's it at?
None of your business.
That's right.
It's not on me. That's all you need to know. When a license holder is carrying a concealed handgun and asks the police officers if they are carrying, it is their duty to inform that officer that they are. This can be done verbally or by showing the concealed handgun, which I don't recommend doing the second one. I've seen too many people get shot because they looked like they were reaching for something. In the state of Texas, you are required by law, if you're a concealed carry license holder, to identify that you're a concealed carry license holder and you are armed. You have to. If you're not, you don't. So it's kind of a. I don't have my license for that reason right now, because I don't want the cops knowing I've got my gun in my car. I don't want anybody knowing I've got a gun in my car, ever, if it's there or not. You don't need that information. But in the state of Texas, the law states what is very similar to this. If you have it, you need to inform them. So what you do is you put your hands on the dash. Officer, I am a licensed concealed carry holder. I have my gun on me. My permit is in my wallet. At that point in time, the officer will most likely ask, where's the firearm at? It's on my hip. It's in the center console, something like that. Sometimes they'll take it upon themselves to go in and grab that firearm. So you need to be kind of careful what you keep around your gun, especially if you smoke. But you have to let them know, no matter what. Don't hide that from them if you're licensed. If you're licensed. In accordance with federal law, persons who have been convicted of a felony or misdemeanor act of domestic violence are ineligible to receive the concealed carry license in Illinois. Persons who within the past 5 years have been convicted of a misdemeanor involving the use of force or violence, or received 2 convictions for driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs, or been in residential court order treatment for substance abuse are also ineligible for license. Now, I can agree with most of that. The DUI, I really don't understand. He drove drunk. I don't agree with driving drunk. I don't. Let me say that. But what does a DUI have to do with me owning a gun? However, for the rest of those there, at least like even drug usage, I can't really agree with fully. I can understand it because some drugs, I'm not saying weed shouldn't be on that list, but like hard drugs, you have a tendency to become more violent, and if you have means to a firearm, I think marijuana should be removed from that requirement. I don't see it happening anytime soon. But all the rest of those requirements, any violence, felonies, that I can agree with. In compliance with the Federal Law Enforcement Officer Safety Act, off-duty and retired police officers who qualify annually under the state guidelines are also allowed to conceal carry. Open carry of firearms is generally illegal except when hunting or on one's own land or in one's dwelling or fixed place of business, or on the land or in the dwelling of a fixed place of business of another person with that person's permission. That one I can also agree with the exception of it's generally illegal to open carry. I don't care if you open carry. I don't want to open carry. I don't want you knowing what I got.
Right.
I don't want you seeing me as a threat, because if you see me as a threat, if you're going to do something violent, I'm going to be one of the people you target. But as far as carrying in general, I don't think open carrying, as long as you have your license, and I still think there needs to be a constitutional carry. I don't think you should have a requirement to carry a firearm. I do think you should have some training, which is the purpose of this ranch. But I don't agree with you needing a license to carry. You should be able to defend yourself no matter what. Just
Facebook is linking us. We know that.
Oh well, get bent. You know what I'm talking about.
That's what they do.
Yep, they don't like us. We're not, if you're commenting, if you're watching, we don't interact with you. Facebook user. Why is that blocked?
That's probably watching on my Hamilton Swap Shop. If they don't sign in, agree to sign their name in, they come up as Facebook user, which is fine.
Yep.
So, I don't have a problem with that.
No, no, your comment's 100% true. The government's basically making you choose between marijuana and a firearm.
And Missouri's one of them.
That's how they get you. You can have your medical marijuana card, but you can't own a gun anymore, which is bullshit. I don't agree with that any.
Okay, now I know who it is.
Okay. So yeah, no, that's how they're trying to get some people off of owning a gun or turn their guns in. They get a card or can't buy any more guns.
Right.
Get a card and you can't own a gun anymore. So you have to choose. Do you want to defend yourself or do you want to, I think marijuana is great for pain, anxiety, depression, stuff like that. You can either be happy and high or you can have guns and defend yourself, but you can't have both, which is bullshit. Again, marijuana needs to be removed off that restriction.
No, but you can be an alcoholic and get one.
Yeah.
That don't make no sense to me.
Alcohol has caused more deaths and violence in America than any other drug.
Yep.
And that's because it's legal. Where was I? Open carry of firearms is generally illegal. We covered that. When a firearm is being transported, it must be unloaded and enclosed in a case, firearm carrying box, shipping box, or other container broken down in a non-functioning state. Let me say that again. It must be broken down in a non-functioning state. So even when you transport your firearm, that you can't have it to be able to discharge a round. So in Texas, we used to have a law similar to that. We didn't have to have them broken down. We had to have the ammunition and the firearms separated. So if you had your ammo in the front, the gun had to be in the back. It had to be out of sight, out of reach, everything. The Cass Law Doctrine made that law null and void. Now you can carry your gun in your car loaded and ready to go, but it has to be out of sight.
Right.
That's it. This screws so many people. Carjacking, you can't get to your gun anymore because now I've got to put my gun together. And depending on what type of firearm, now an AR usually you can throw together in a few seconds. Shotgun takes a little longer because you have to depending on your shotgun, you have to screw the cap down. It takes about a minute, maybe 30 seconds, depending on how fast you are. Pistols to be broken down in a non-functioning state, you're looking at about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, depending on the gun. Glocks you can usually throw together real quick, so a couple seconds, but a 1911 broken down in a non-functioning state, you're screwed. If you've never cleaned a 1911, they are one of the most finicky. I love them. I love my 1911s, but cleaning those bastards sucks. Oh, I hate cleaning those guns, especially now that I've got the compensators on them. I think they sent me the wrong size because I can't get my compensators off. They look great. They're fun to shoot now because I don't have as much recoil, but get that fucking gun apart. Because normally with the normal cap to take apart your gun, it pops off. You don't have to fight the screw or the spring anymore. Now, in order to clean it, I have to hold the upper back and pull the pin at the same time in order to tear it apart. And I can't even fully tear it apart. So when I clean it, I have to like toothbrush, scrub everything, soak it. It's a task to clean that gun.
Thanks, Nick.
That's why it is not my everyday carry. If I shoot that gun, I delay cleaning it for about a week. Just terrible for your guns, but I
know. I hated breaking them down in the service. It was a nightmare.
They're a good, reliable gun. I love them to death. They just suck tearing them apart. But again, it's whatever you have in your vehicle. You've got to think if I'm traveling and I want to have a gun with me in Illinois, and I need something I can throw together quick. It's probably going to be a Heckler and Koch, Glock, Smith & Wesson M&P, something that I know all I have to do is take that upper off and separate them. That way I can grab, throw it together, throw a mag in chamber around it, and I'm good to go. And that took me 15 seconds, depending on how far I have them sleep. No, I'm good. I have no intentions of ever owning a black powder firearm.
They're a blast, let me tell you.
I'm sure they're fun to shoot, but I don't want to clean them.
They're a pain in the ass.
Yeah, hard no. Although if I do move up there, and I know y'all have a special season for hunting, which most of the time is, I believe, bows and black powder only. I know you have a bow season, and
Okay. What you have, they've changed the laws around on the hunting up here. You can use the black powder in all rifle seasons, alternative season, those 2 seasons together.
yeah. But so that would give you more time to hunt.
Oh, yeah. And that's what 90% of the weapons here in Missouri are hunting weapons.
So that's when I would buy a black powder gun, is if I can get moved up there, I would buy me a black powder gun just for hunting seasons. I need to go hunting. God, I need to go hunting. I wish my dad would have been less pacifistic about that. Now I've got all these guns that I want to go shoot shit with. I need to shoot something.
You got to get them off bottom of the lake first.
Yeah, I got to go swimming. I'd like to
do a lot of cleaning.
Yeah, I'd really like to do some hog hunting. And one benefit about hog hunting is you have no licensing, no bag limit. There are no restrictions to shoot hogs.
And what's stopping you? You're in the best state to go hog hunting.
It's finding where I can go, because a lot of people have down here have marketed hog hunting. So unless you know somebody with land that has a hog problem, you can't get to it.
You want to know how to do it? Take one of your days off, right? Get up early, right? Drive into the country, find a little bitty town, drive in and go to the restaurant. Go in there and sit down when all the guys come in to drink coffee and say, I'm down here to hog hunt. You're going to find farmers that will tell you, come out there and take as many as you want.
Yeah, that's it. That's hog hunting.
Yeah.
I'm trying to convince my dad to go with me, so he can get a little more comfortable with firearms. My brother's game. My brother loves guns almost as much as I do. But he's trying to have a kid, so he can't buy them like I am.
No.
Benefit of being 28 and single. I can do whatever the fuck I want. But hog hunting there's no restrictions, no requirements. There's no season, nothing. Hogs are a nuisance, and it's like if you wanted to go, and we talked about it on 1700 somewhere. If you wanted to go and kill, what is it, boas or the certain species of snakes in Florida that are invasive, you don't need licensing. You just go do it. That's why it's important to know your laws. Some of them suck, but some of them are like, I can do what now? Hell yeah.
It's like I was joking about on the show this morning. Over the weekend, we had one of the Smithville hog farms burned down up here. 100 by 400 building burnt down with feeder hogs in them. Right? I was like, why didn't you open the door, man? We could have had a great hunting season.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's.
I mean, that was a rough way to do a barbecue, let me tell you.
Can't turn the meat, can't get it off when it's cooked. Yeah, that sucks.
I talked to a friend of mine's electrician. He got called out there. The noise was unbelievable. Them things were squealing like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, I can imagine. Burning alive is one of the most.
And Richie, the Gallatin barn, his son worked there. Yeah. Electrical short in the building. And
speaking of hogs and fires, did you see a group of firefighters rescued a set of baby pigs from a fire, and they turned around like 3 months later and brought them back as sausages as a thank you for the police department? You saved those pigs from a burning death just to die.
Take them home, feed them, and
that's such crap.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't believe that article when I saw it. I had such a fun time covering that one. Oh God. The irony.
Yeah, you got everybody laughing in the chat room about that.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to be educational, but we want you to have fun.
Yeah, you got to have fun. You got to laugh, and you know,
But
we take this stuff serious about what they're doing with these laws. But the stories that come up about certain things
oh, dude,
are funny.
let me tell you, it's the top of the hour, so it's time for our kind of goofy shit. A mother was I say kind of goofy. I have one serious article to cover right now, and I have a video of a gun fail, which I typically try and have every week of somebody doing something stupid with a gun. Unfortunately, this mother of five, and we've covered gun safety before, and we will continue to cover gun safety as much as we possibly can, especially around children. Children think toy, depending on how you handle it, how they think it's cool, they want to play with it, and this is one of those situations where it caused some problems. Mother of five, this is back in February 18th, 2021, so this happened this year. A mother of five was shot and killed after her kids found a gun in her purse. 5 children are motherless after the gun accident. Their mother and injured their youngest sibling. The 25-year-old woman was at home with her children when she was fatally shot. Police said the woman was inadvertently shot, likely after the children found the gun inside her purse. Her youngest child was also shot and is recovering with non-life-threatening injuries. Here's what happened. Cornelius police said they found the mother dead in the back bed of her apartment Monday evening. There was a small semi-automatic handgun on the bed in the room where the woman was found. And police said that the 4 of her children were in the bedroom with her at the time of the incident. The oldest one was in the living room, police state. The youngest child was also shot and taken to the hospital and treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Because of the case, Cornelius Police Department said the department will not release any of the children's names, ages, or any identifying information. The incident is not unique, unfortunately. Children accessing firearms is particularly dangerous because of their impressionability and exposure to media violence. 2019 study found that locking up their guns at home could prevent up to a third of gun suicides and accidental deaths among children and teens. The reason I wanted to cover that article is because I can't stress safety enough. And when we do, if we can get the ranch up and running, it's going to be our biggest thing. One of the rules is no politics. If you want to come and shoot a gun, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, liberal, conservative. I don't care. I don't want you bringing your bullshit and your drama here. Place with guns does not need problems. But the biggest rules are always going to be safety. And we've covered children and firearms a little bit before. If you have guns in your home and you have small children, they need to be stored, locked up, or you need to train your children. My father was terrible with that. Thankfully, nothing ever came of it. But I did find his old 22 LR years and years ago. I must have been 10, 12 years old. I like to climb on things, and I found his gun up high. My mom, and I loved guns from a young age. I've always loved guns for a very long time. I knew what it was. I knew how to handle it safely. I knew what to do. And they didn't know I found it for probably 2 or 3 years. But I liked to look at it. And I thought it was a unique gun. It was pretty cool. Unfortunately, it did actually get stolen from him when he moved. But it didn't function very well. You would have to fire through it 4 or 5 times to make sure. It was a revolver. It was an old 22 LR revolver. And you'd have to go through 4 or 5 times to make sure every single round was discharged. But if you have, especially nowadays and age with the media violence, gun violence, video games, stuff like that, they know what it is. Some of them should know what it is. But most of the time when you buy a gun, I know almost every single time I've bought a gun, it comes with the gun. It comes with a chamber lock, which is just a cable that goes in through the chamber, or it can go in through the barrel, depending on how short your gun is. I know a lot of pistols have it to where you can feed it through the ejection port, go out the barrel, and it locks it from actually chambering around. Those are great. Those are beneficial. Don't ever lose your fucking keys. They're quick to get on and off, but you need some kind of device, some kind of safe. I have a gun safe. I don't have kids, but I have boating accident firearms, and I wanted to keep them safe while I wasn't home. You don't need an extravagant safe. You don't. As long as you can hide it very well, you should be fine. But if you have children, you do need some kind of way to keep it from discharging with. And they have ones now that are biosensors, fingerprint sensors. So it's even quicker to get off instead of trying to find a key. They have ones with keypads. They have ones with push buttons. There's different, find what's going to work for you and train I can't stress that enough. Train your children what it is, what it does, what not to do, what to do. Because if you're not home and they need the gun, the oldest should be educated enough to utilize the gun. Most of the time, above probably 8 years old, they should know about it. But don't have it just open and out unless you're home. And even then, they need to know what it is, what not, and don't point it. They need to know the rules. Training cannot be stressed enough with firearms. I call them toys, and that pisses off a lot of people. I don't care. I am educated. I am trained. I am knowledgeable about my guns. I know how to handle them. I know what they do, what not to do with them. I have enough education where I'm comfortable. These are my toys. I like my toys. My toys are shiny and expensive. I don't care. But I call them that because I know what to do. I know, and that's just, I'm a kid mentally, but I'm smart enough to know, don't point it at me. So if you have, and leaving it in your purse is acceptable to an extent. I actually have a personal story. My buddy's sister or sister-in-law, one of them, had a Glock, and this is why I say get a good holster. Where is that bastard? Get a good holster. Look, I can take this gun. It's not coming out. It's locked in there. And it has an adjustment screw, which will actually put more tension so I can make it as stiff as I want for pulling my gun. She did not have a holster on her Glock. Her Glock was in her purse. I went over to his house one day and I saw a bullet exit hole. I looked at the other side. There's no entry hole. I'm confused as shit. They told me she had her gun in her purse and I think her mascara got in the trigger guard and pulled the trigger and discharged out of her car. So if you want to keep it in your purse, it's fine, but put it, either get a gun with a safety. Smith & Wesson does have Glock similar style firearms. I'm actually thinking about getting one myself, but they do have a safety selector switch, which is the one reason I want that gun, because it would be a good full size 9mm with a safety on it. But if you don't, if you've got your gun in your purse, don't keep your purse where your children can easily access it.
No.
Don't do that. Now it's time for that gun fail. And this kid looked like he was trying to educate people on what to do with his gun. Mr. Carl, can you bring that video up, please?
People wanted to know how to put the hammer back down after the hammer's already pulled with the bullet inside the chamber. So I'm going to show you guys.
Yeah, point it right at me.
What you do is when you pull the hammer back, so this gun's totally loaded, you have to push down the hammer before you even pull the trigger. And once you do that, it enables you to...
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Wasn't expecting that. Okay, that's not terrifying at all. Yeah, so what he was trying to do is I don't have one of my guns with a hammer up here right now. But you can't, he's right. You can hold the hammer down. What a lot of people don't expect is there's a lot more force than you'd think. So when you pull it, you need to put a lot of force and then slowly release if you're going to do it one-handed. My recommendation for that for anybody, no matter how big and tough you are, put your hand down behind the hammer and then pull the trigger. It's going to sting a little bit, but you can roll off and slowly let it up safely. You have more control with a whole hand compared to your thumb.
Same way you do a 30-30 lever action.
So he's not wrong. He was not wrong in trying to explain it, but he was not educated enough. What he should have done is done that unloaded first, seen how difficult it was, and then tried to do it. And don't ever, for the love of God, don't do it inside. His mom is going to give him an ass whooping to remember.
Let's see if I got mine. This here is a local story out of Kansas City, Missouri, down here at Independence Center, right? Just about, it would have been 30 minutes away from Blue Springs where we were at,
Holy shit, that's real close.
right? Okay. This is going to be a story. It's another incident that happened down there. I'm hoping this video shows the incident. We'll see what it does here. Anyway, there's a guy doing a prank that walks into this mall holding a machine gun. Let's see here. Come on. Anyway, they arrested him that night, put him out on bail. He went back into the same mall with a baseball bat into Dick's Sporting Goods. Slammed the bat on the ground. It sounded like a gunshot, and they shot him with a beanbag. This is the guy
God, don't be so
right here. Here he is. Look. I can't stop it. It's got a red tip on the end of the gun. He's pulling a prank. Another one of them prank craps.
It's a good way to get killed.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's him right there. I mean, it's stupid stuff like that, people. Walks in there like that, holding a gun like that, even though it's a toy and it's got a red tip, orange tip on the end of it. Surprising one of the guards in there or somebody conceal and carry didn't pop one in him.
Yeah, I agree. You know,
And they would have been in all right, just like that YouTuber down there in Nashville. They did the prank robbing the purse with the two long knives, and the guy in the parking lot seen it happen, pulled his gun out and shot him.
yeah, don't. Guns are not meant for pranks. Again, I call them toys. They are not. They are not. Don't do stupid. Guns and alcohol don't mix. Pranks and guns don't mix. People like that give me a migraine.
Oh, I know it. I seen that happen about 2 weeks ago when he walked into the Independence Mall with that, and I was like, "Oh my God, how stupid!"
Natural selection needs to make a comeback. We need to remove the warning labels off of everything and just let the weak wean themselves out. That's going to hurt some people's feelings, but I don't care. I'm right. But moving back onto our laws, if you ever find an article you want us to cover for any show, I do have the 1700 somewhere show. If you don't know that one, go check it out. If you have articles or topics you want me to cover, I will. If you have questions, post them. The first show me and Carl did, we talked for probably 2 hours with a guy about a shotgun.
In California.
Yeah. So,
And his brother belonged to a gun range.
don't be afraid to ask questions.
Right. But if you do find stories you want us to check out, contact us on the Second Amendment Ranch page and just send us a message and we'll find it. We'll get it researched and bring it on the next show. Or if you put it in the chat room, we know anything about it right now or can look it up real quick, we will.
And we have done that.
Yeah.
If you want to know about a specific gun, if I have it, I'll talk about it. If I don't, I'll look it up. For this show, keep it Second Amendment related. For other topics, it'll be on the Ed 1700 somewhere page. But don't be afraid to interact. I know I look big and scary. I'm not most of the time.
He's a big teddy bear. He is big, but he's a teddy bear
This one
until you piss him off.
This one will attest to that. He is spoiled rotten.
Yeah.
Aren't you? Oh. All right, watch out. But back to the laws.
Hold it here.
I have a question you might
Dogsy. I have a question you may find interesting. Post it in the comments.
All
We'll
right.
find out.
Let us know. I'm curious.
Yep.
While we wait for his question to pop up, I'm going to cover the other state laws for
Go
Illinois.
right ahead.
For Illinois, get down. You know I'm doing my show. You can only do this when I game. You needy bastard. When purchasing a firearm in Illinois, there is a 72-hour waiting period after the sale before the buyer can take possession. In Texas, I can walk, and I think in Missouri, I can walk into any gun store, buy the gun, and walk out the same day with that gun.
Not here.
Really?
No, you got a 72-hour wait.
That's disappointing.
Now, I can walk in and buy a shotgun, anything like that, and walk right out of the store with it.
I can buy the only guns I have to wait for, or anything I have to wait for, is anything class 3. So short-barreled rifles, suppressors. But no, if I want to go buy a new shotgun, a new pistol, a new AR, a new bolt action, lever action rifle, as long as they have it in stock, walk in, buy it. They do a quick background check, takes about 20 minutes, walk out with it.
No, we got a 72-hour wait. You go buy a 30-06. We'll say a Savage 30-06 from Walmart. You got a 72-hour wait before you can take possession of it.
That sucks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no. If I'm buying a gun, I'm walking out with it that day. So you got to wait 3 days. No, the fuck I don't. Sorry, anybody looking to sponsor me. I dropped the F-bomb there, but I really hate that law. I can't. 72 hours. You can do a quick background check and see if they're not. Again, 20 minutes for me. Why are you taking 3 days?
Mm-hmm.
When a firearm is sold by a licensed dealer, the seller is required to provide a gun lock unless the firearm itself includes an integrated locking mechanism, which I'm not quite sure what that would be, because safety features aren't actually
We got his question.
made the decision for me and my American wife to move stateside, North Carolina, to be specific. I've shot before, but I'm interested in getting a concealed carry license. What would you recommend as concealed carry? Ooh, I love these questions. Love these questions.
Now, this is his personal opinion now.
Yeah, yes. These are my opinions. Find something you can hide well, comfortable against your body. The bigger the gun, the more noticeable it's going to be. So if you want a concealed carry, you want something that's not going to stand out a lot. Personally, for me, I bought a Glock 43X. I bought the 43X because it's a little bigger. It's a little bit. But I also have bear paws for hands. It still fits in the palm of my hand. I can carry it very well. I'm not a huge fan of Glock, but I needed a gun that I can hide, keep close, and I knew it was going to be reliable. I personally prefer using 45. They're fat, they're slow, but they punch like a mule. 9mm is great. It's a good round. I personally only like them for plinking. The small caliber, less stopping power. But I have more rounds in a gun this size compared to if I were to get a similar gun in a 45. But it's very hard to find a gun in 45 that you can effectively concealed carry. Now, you can do it. What I've seen a lot of people do is their main carry is usually, if they're concealed carrying, their main carry is a 9mm, and they'll have like a 38 special hidden in their boot.
Right.
But you need to find something you're comfortable with, you're accurate with, that you know what you can put targets downrange in a good grouping, but it needs to be small enough to hide. I would personally carry a full-size firearm if I could, but again, I don't want somebody seeing that I've got a gun on me. That's the purpose of concealed carry. You go on about your day like nothing's happening. Nobody knows that you've got a gun on you.
Right.
Nobody. The second somebody knows you've got a gun on you, you lose your advantage right there. As soon as anybody knows that could be a threat, knows you've got a gun, you're a threat, their job is to take you out first because they know you can do something to stop them.
Right.
Don't paint a target on your back ever. So find, again, I like this Glock, but I also wanted to get this specific holster because it does, you can hear that click. That's it locking into place, and I'm not worried about it falling out of its holster. And you're going to find, now a lot of people say it will scratch up the gun, the plastic's rough on it. You can get a very similar, I have one for my Colt. It's leather, and it still locks like that to an extent, but leather does not most of the time lock your gun into place. There are ones with magnets out there that can be effective. Not sure how I feel about the magnets. I'd have to buy one and see how it works for me to actually give an accurate review on it. I don't like it because I don't want magnets around my electronics, and I don't know if how strong that magnet's going to be. But if you do concealed carry, invest in a good holster. And if you open carry ever, get a holster that has a locking mechanism. For my full-size Glock 21, I want to say it is, it has a trigger release where it locks the trigger guard into the holster itself. I have to depress this button to pull my firearm. It's still quick. It's one motion, one hand. I'm on target. But if somebody doesn't know it or they can't get to it quickly, there's just pulling on my pants at that point in time. They can't get the gun out. If you open carry, you need to have something that can lock that gun into place. But again, I don't recommend open carrying.
What do you think about a 380?
A 380. As far as concealed carry,
Yeah.
I don't know much about that round. Let me look it up real quick.
It's a smaller gun. I know a lot of women carry them in their purses and stuff. I know a lot of guys that carry them, conceal and carry.
Similar to a 38 special?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'd agree with that one. A little, if I remember right, it's got a little more power than a 9mm, but you can still. So that one, I would recommend. And actually, looking at some of these guns, I would probably go with. Let me share screen. If you'd be so kind, pull that up real quick. I'd go with one of these Smith & Wesson M&P 380 shields.
Yep.
Because if you look back here, it's got the dovetail, which is another safety feature. It has another safety itself. So I'd have to see its size.
Right.
But this would be a good concealed carry.
I know a lot of people it's got that Walter, the second row down, first one.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Walters. I don't like how they look.
Right.
But it does have it does look like it has the dovetail as well, which also protects your hand from.
But a lot of them like it because it's a smaller gun, easier to hide, easier to conceal, and it does pack a punch.
But yeah, if you want to go with the 380, I'd go with probably one of these two. A+1, no manual. Yeah, I'd probably go with this one right here. But that's me. I'd like to find a 45 similar to this. But find a caliber you're good with, accurate with, you're comfortable with, you can handle the recoil, and
Another satisfied customer.
all right. So talking about revolvers, there's a benefit for revolvers, and that's why a lot of people, if they do carry two guns, they keep a revolver in their boot.
Right.
The reason why a revolver is a benefit, one, they can come in a smaller size. They can be more compact. But if you take a gun, specifically, do I not have a lens? There it goes. All right, show you on this. Clear, empty, safe firearm, right? If I take my Glock and push it up against somebody, you can't see it very well, but you can see it moving a little bit.
Right.
This won't discharge anymore. This, with it locked back like that, it won't. I can pull the trigger and it won't fire a round most of the time, depending on how hard you push. If you only push it a little bit, you're okay. But a revolver, I could beat you over the head with it. I can push it as hard as I want into your body, and that gun will discharge every single time.
All 6 rounds.
So if you're getting into close confrontation with somebody and you're pushing your gun into their body, a revolver is a benefit to have. If you're close enough where they can that's the benefit of a revolver. You can push it into somebody, give them an incentive, get the hell off me before I pull this trigger. Whereas you use a Glock or a Smith & Wesson, any kind of semi-automatic pistol, if you push it too hard into their body, that gun ain't going off. So that's kind of why a lot of people like to carry a revolver, because they don't have that thought that if I hit them with it and I push it into them, it's not going off.
Right.
I think if you get to that point, you should have used your gun a lot sooner, but that's my take on it. But that's the benefit of having that revolver, especially as a backup gun, because now you've got that, one, you've got extra ammunition. Two, you've got a gun you know is going to go off regardless in their ribs. So it's a personal preference. My father personally likes revolvers because they're easier to reload, which they are. If you've got weak fingers trying to get a magazine loaded up appropriately, it can get a little difficult. But a revolver, you just drop them in and call it good. But as you said, you're very limited on your ammunition capacities. So it's a pick and choose battle. I've covered it a lot. There is no such thing as an all-purpose gun. There's not. And you cannot prove me wrong. There's
Right.
not. We can talk about that all day long. There's not.
Right. Chris Mine says he always carries his revolver.
So, plus a good portion of the time, if you do get in a confrontation, as soon as you reveal you have a gun, most people will back off.
Right.
As soon as they realize, oh, he's got an advantage I don't have right now. Or if he sees you going for something, his gun's already out, you're going for something, you're put on the ground.
Yeah.
So you think when especially for first-time gun buyers, my biggest recommendation is find a shop that you can test different guns out. It might not be the exact one you want, but you can go shoot something very similar to the body style type, revolver, semi-automatic, what have you. You can take it, test it, see what you're more accurate with, what you're more comfortable with, what you find is more easy for you to hide. You can see how it's going to feel when you shoot it. You can learn the recoil. First time buyers, I highly recommend go out and test different guns just so you know what you should start looking for when you want to buy your own personal concealed carry gun.
Philly Road Tech just bought his first firearm.
Oh, congratulations. What you buy?
Yeah, let us know in the chat.
If you say High Point, just leave the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you tell me you bought a High Point, you buy. Sorry. High Point is
High Point is a low point.
If you buy a High Point, now I have covered that before here. High Point has done or has been tested on Demo Ranch, and it has taken a hell of an ass whooping. But the gun looks ridiculous. They typically have a lot of malfunctioning problems. They're very Taurus G2. That's not a bad gun. Taurus,
No, it's pretty decent.
I've not heard much good about their semi-automatics. I've heard great reviews about their revolvers, but I'd have to actually get my hands on one of their semis, and I just don't like how they look most of the time. Continuing on with our state laws. Again, if you have questions, comments, concerns, bitches, gripes, rights, or last alibis, go ahead and post them. Because, as you know, pistols and even regular long guns are highly regulated here, so I can handle a bolt gun and a good old side-by-side 12-gauge. The pistols, they kind of shake all over the place. Yeah, go rent a gun. Or come down here for a week. I got plenty of guns for you to play with. Pistols aren't good quality. Let me clarify. Good quality pistols should not make you scared or nervous.
Right.
I'd have more problems with, say, an AR that wasn't milled right, which I have one, and it's finicky, but I love it because it's compact. But a pistol is just. It would be no different than firing a shot. It's going to kick less than a shotgun or a bolt-action rifle. It's going to be easier for home defense. It's going to be easier for personal defense. And we've covered. We did joke about if somebody broke into your home and all you can use is a bolt action gun, how bad that's going to be. Better hope you're quick.
But we also showed somebody breaks in your house and you're in a room, you're going around the corner and you got a full-size AR versus your AR pistol.
Yeah.
Big difference there.
Yeah. Again, we're talking about an AR yay big versus an AR yay big. When I come in clear corners, I'm up here, not out here.
Right.
So you need to find. When I bought that AR pistol, I personally requested they had to mill the upper for me for my request. When I say that gun is custom built, that gun is custom built because I wanted very specific design for that use. It is literally the only gun I have purposefully designed for home defense. That's why it sleeps with me next to the fish.
That's his baby.
That's one of my baby. My baby is probably the 50 Beowulf or the 338 Lapua. But those are hungry bitches. God, ammo is so expensive for those right now. Continuing on, other state laws, you still have to report your gun stolen within 72 hours to the police. Gun owner can be charged with a crime if a minor under 14 gains access to the firearm when it's unsecured. So again, it needs covering about safety with your guns. It needs to have a lock on it. So if your kid gets a hold of it, you're not going to jail. Regarding Title II weapons, the possession of automatic firearms, short-barreled rifles, machine guns, and suppressors is fully prohibited. 9mm and 45 Colt by the bed. Colt's a good gun.
Yeah.
Possession of short-barreled rifles is allowed for ATF, curious relics, license holders, or if the rifle is historically accurate, has an overall length of at least 26 inches. For members of a bona fide military reenactment group, while possession of a large bore destructive device itself is not prohibited, possession of artillery. One day, talk about the difference between here and in the.
Where are you located?
I mean, if he's in the UK, then you've got gun laws that make
Chicago. He's got gun laws like crazy, or even in Australia.
Yeah. Possession of an artillery.
Let us know where you're at.
Yeah. We'll probably, if you request a specific location, we will cover it before we finish the 50 states. We have no problems going and covering Australia, UK, Canada, wherever you're at, continuing on 50 states. Because again, the show is meant to be educational. And if you, the viewer, is asking questions, we want to get that content provided to you as soon as possible. It makes you want to come back and watch more, ask more questions, and get more information. Whereas if we'll cover it after the 50 states, you're going to wait for months, waiting for us to finish the 50 states, and then try and come back when we cover your country. That's not the purpose of this show. We want to educate you, the viewers, and anybody else we reach out to. So we're here for y'all.
That's right.
We're not just doing this to do this. We're here for the artillery, projectile, shell, or grenade with over 1/4 ounce of explosives is prohibited. There is no prohibition against non-sporting shotguns such as Armsville Striker, which is the basically a street sweeper shotgun, deemed destructive device by the ATF, nor is there one for any other weapons. There is specific prohibition against the possession of firearms designed to appear as a wireless telephone. Okay. Now, I know some states 50 BMG is completely banned. If HR 127 gets past, any caliber of 50 caliber or greater is banned, which means 50 BMG and Beowulf are both illegal.
Right.
However, you can still own a cannon. Apparently, they want to go back to 1776 real fast. Because, and I have talked about this before, there are 2 cannons on my way to Galveston that are for sale all the time on the side of the road. They're in great condition. So if I want to go buy a cannon at any given point in time and I have a disposable income, say I get a contract or a sponsorship, and I do move. I'm over here in UK right now working on getting to the US. I have my license right now. $2 grand. Try to wrap your head. Oh, yeah. We'll do that next week. We'll cover UK laws next week.
Join next week, and I may send him a link and have him on the show.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I get a disposable income or a sponsor or something like that, you can damn guarantee I'm going to go get my ass a cannon.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I have a disposable income and can move up to Missouri, we're going to open the real ranch. And if we can start it with a real bang, say a cannon, you damn right I want to do it.
Well, we could go right up here to the courthouse and grab one out of the front yard.
Most of those have cement in them.
No, these roll.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got a truck.
Yes, I do.
Okay. We'll just make the news.
Be on at 1700 somewhere.
Yeah. Missouri man.
Missouri man stole a cannon. Why? He wanted to open his show up the right way.
Yeah, we'll just build one.
That too. It's not hard.
No.
Where was I? Quarter ounce. In Illinois, muzzleloaders and black powder guns are considered firearms. Air guns that are larger than an 18 caliber and have muzzle velocity greater than 700 feet per second are also regulated as firearms.
Really?
Yep. So even an air gun, if you don't know what an air gun is, it's got a chamber for air compression that you fill up with usually about 4,500 pounds of air, and it can shoot basically any caliber you want.
Right.
But it's a BB up to like a ball, and it can kill. But most of the time those aren't I know in Texas, no black powder gun is regulated and no air guns are regulated. I can literally order the Diablo shotgun, which is black powder loaded shotgun, double barrel shotgun, and any air gun I want. I can order it and have it shipped straight to my door.
Right.
So hearing that they're regulating black powder guns and air guns is a little concerning. To possess or purchase a taser or stun gun, a firearms owner identification card is required. Dude, I can buy a taser on Amazon.
Yeah. Not in Chicago.
That's ridiculous. There's a 24-hour waiting period to take possession of those.
No, there ain't.
Yeah, for Illinois, there is.
Amazon Prime delivers next day.
Oh, God, Illinois. No wonder you're so retarded.
Oh.
On March 21st, 2019, the Illinois Supreme Court unanimously ruled that the ban of carrying tasers or stun guns in public violated the Second Amendment and therefore was unconstitutional. The court ruled tasers and stun guns are not covered under the state's concealed carry laws. It is also said that tasers and stun guns are less lethal than firearms, and they are entitled to at least as much legal protection. Illinois has no stand your ground law, which means you do have to flee no matter what. Any air gun firearms license. I don't.
Maybe in the UK.
No, I don't. But there is also a no duty to retreat law. The use of force is justified when a person reasonably believes that it is necessary to prevent imminent death or greater bodily harm to him or herself, or the commission of forcibly felony. There are some additional protections for defense against laws, unlawful entry into a dwelling. So it's kind of weird. No stand your ground law, but there's also the no duty to retreat, which kind of contradicts itself. No duty to retreat. In the law, no duty to retreat or the requirement of safe retreat is legal requirement in some jurisdictions that a threatened person cannot harm another in self-defense when it is possible to instead retreat to a place of safety. This requirement contrasts with the right in some other jurisdictions as stand your ground laws. So stand your ground law means you don't have to do anything. You can literally just walk around, and if somebody comes up hostile to you, you can defend yourself right there and use force you deem necessary. No duty to retreat. If you are threatened at that point in time, you can take action. So that kind of clears that up. Illinois has a red flag law. Should have seen that coming. That allows family members or police to petition a judge to issue an order to confiscate the firearms of a person deemed immediate and present danger to themselves or others. The petitioner must prove by clear and convincing evidence that the person possesses a danger by having a firearm. The hearing for issuing the order may be done without the person being present. So no trial by a jury at this point in time. So you don't have no representation. isn't neon orange here. No, I can buy that without a problem. We have them at Bass Pro Shops.
Mm-hmm. We can buy them anywhere around here.
Yeah, pretty much. So with that infringes greatly on your constitutional rights. And who's to say that somebody doesn't come in and go, hey, he's a threat to himself. He has talked about suicide, but you have no evidence. If that court judge rules that, okay, that's a big enough case, they can go and take your guns right there.
Yeah.
The person may request a hearing to be held within 2 weeks where they may defend themselves. If the order of confiscation is upheld, the person's guns may be taken away and their FOID card may be suspended for up to 6 months. After that point in time, the person may have their guns returned to them and their FOID card reinstated unless the court finds grounds to renew, not to renew the suspension. So what that tells me, what that tells me is I can say, hey, he's feeling suicidal, take his guns away. And we've already covered this before with a case where an individual had their firearms taken away in a state very similar to Illinois. They took his guns and he can't get them back. He has tried, but they have lost them.
Right.
Thousands of dollars gone because the incompetency. And that's not, you're not going to tell me you lost my guns. It's not going to happen.
No.
That's why whenever you do decide to use your firearms, be smart about them because they're going to take that gun. If you shoot somebody in your property, the odds are they're probably going to take your gun to do an investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to keep tabs on everything. If a qualified medical examiner, law enforcement officer, or other school administrator determines that a gun owner's mental state makes them a clear and present danger to themselves, again, medical examiner, law enforcement administrator, or a school administrator. So a principal could say, hey, this kid's dad seems a little hostile every time he comes to talk to me about his son. I don't want him having his guns anymore. Take him away. And on its 1700 Somewhere show, we've covered where a family was targeted by their neighbors. They posted, the neighbors themselves would post photos and videos of them on hunts and shooting deer and everything. Well, their neighbors got offended, posted about it, got a red flag law or a red flag notification put on them. They broke into that house. The owners of the guns tried to defend themselves. They killed the father, the mother, right in front of the children, and didn't. They tried to alert them of the situation. But again, if you're outside, like right now, I couldn't hear my front door being kicked in. I have a headset on. It's loud. If you break into my home, I see people, I'm shooting. No questions asked. Sure, I'd never see them again because they were an ice case. Yeah, you got lucky.
You got real lucky.
So these red flag laws are doing more damage than they do good because more people are trying to defend themselves within their constitutional rights because they're doing these break-ins at like 3 a.m. If you want to come and take my guns or talk to me about anything and I work nights, so 3 a.m. is actually a benefit for me. But if I was on a normal schedule like a normal person and you broke into my home at 3 a.m. trying to come and get my guns, I'm going to shoot you. I don't care. Do you have a warrant to be here? Yes? Okay, then why didn't you knock long enough for me to come and answer the door? Why'd you just break in? If I'm not answering, I'm probably asleep or drunk. Red flag laws are terrible. I'm not saying they shouldn't, utilize warrants to go and like do drug busts and stuff like that. But if you know somebody has a gun and the odds are they're going to defend themselves because they know their constitutional rights, you're going to kill more people than you actually help. But again, a school administrator can determine that you don't have the mental state to have a firearm, which is a joke. As far as local laws go, Illinois has state preemption and I'm not even doing all the laws. This is what I could find. There's more than this. If you want to know more and you want us to cover more laws of your state, ask us because we only have 2 hours and Illinois has a shit ton of laws.
Mm-hmm.
This is literally what I could find real quick. Yeah, there's even Texas has a stack of laws for guns. It's ridiculous how many gun laws are out there, and a lot of them contradict themselves. A lot of laws will contradict themselves, or you'll find another one that is also active at the same time that would nullify the other one, but what one's actually nullifying what one? Because they, came out at the same time, stuff like that. It's ridiculous how the gun laws are set up. They're literally designed that I've seen gun laws set up when really doing in-depth research on them, specifically for Texas. A lot of the times they contradict themselves and basically set you up to where you can legally defend yourself if you only find this law, but this law says you're a criminal for doing so. So you have to be careful and get a good ass lawyer if you do get in a situation like that. Do not try and think, oh, I can handle myself. As soon as you do something with a gun, get a lawyer right there. Start making phone calls right there. Like, please show up. Hey, what happened? Hold on. What's going on? Answer the questions. Well, you need to hang up the phone. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm on the phone with a lawyer. I want to have representation to listen to this conversation while we do this. Put them on speaker. They will screw. If you do anything with a gun, they will do everything in their power to screw you. But as far as the local laws go, the regulation, licensing, and possession of and registration of handguns and ammunition for a handgun, transportation of any firearm and ammunition. There is also state preemption for the regulation or the possession of owner of any assault weapon, except for laws passed before 2013, which were grandfathered in. In other areas of gun law, and some local governments have passed ordinances that are more restrictive than those of other states. So that's why Chicago is so bad, because Chicago has dumped more gun laws into their state than Illinois itself has. So Chicago state has even more restrictive gun laws than Illinois. Chicago has banned the possession of certain semi-automatic firearms that it defines as an assault weapon, as well as laser sights, which I just ordered one for one of my guns, so get bent. Chicago residents must immediately report a firearm that is lost or stolen, and must report the transfer of the firearm within 48 hours of such transfer. In a home where a person younger than 18 is present, all guns must be secured with a trigger lock or stored in a locked container secured to the body of the legal owner. Chicago formally prohibited the sale of firearms within city limits, but on January 6, 2014, the judge ruled that was unconstitutional. Judge granted the city's request for 6 months to pass new regulation gun shops. On June 25th, 2014, the city council passed the new law allowing gun stores but restricting them to certain limited areas of the city, requiring all gun sales be videotaped and limited buyers to one gun per 30-day period. Yikes. I can go and buy a gun today. I can go buy 10 guns today. I can go buy 10 guns a day, 20 guns tomorrow, and 30 guns the next day, 50 guns the next day after that. I don't have a restriction like that. I will be asked questions about why I have bought so many guns at that point in time, but I can do it, and nobody can stop me. Store owners must make their records available to the police, and employees must be trained to identify possible straw purchases. With purchase, I don't even know what possible straw purchases means. With passage of the gun shop ordinance, Chicago also struck a previous ban on the transfer of ammunition. On January 2017, a federal appeals court ruled that the city's revised gun shop law was unconstitutional. Cook County has banned the possession of certain semi-automatic firearms that it defines as assault weapons. Residents must report to the county sheriff within 48 hours. Firearm has been stolen, lost, or destroyed, or sold, otherwise transferred. The sheriff share this information with other law enforcement agencies. Licensed firearm dealers must provide information to the county regarding purchases and the guns they purchase, and receive $25 tax on the sale of any firearm by a retail dealer. In addition to the usual county sales tax, the county also has a tax on ammunition, 5 cents per round for centerfire ammunition, and 1 cent per round for rimfire ammunition. So they're taxing this shit. So if you buy a gun in those counties, they're going to be even more expensive. And again, this is why you need to know your laws for one, your state and your city, because clearly these are differing opinions, different views on how they need to run the laws. Why do you think the crime is so high? Possession of firearms has been variously defined as assault weapons, is also illegal in Lincolnwood, Skokie, Evanston, Highland Park, North Chicago, Melrose Park, Riverdale, Dalton, Hazelcrest, Homewood, and part of Buffalo Grove that's in Cook County. Storage and transportation of assault weapons is restricted in Morton Grave, Winnetka County, Club Hills, and University Park. Sales and transfer of assault weapons are prohibited in Niles. In December 2015, the Supreme Court declined to hear the case of Friedman versus Highland Park, a challenge to that city's assault weapons ban. Deerfield had passed an ordinance in 2013 that regulated the storage and transportation of assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. In April 2018, the ordinance was amended to ban possession. On June 2018, the law was blocked from going into effect by Lake County Circuit Court judge who held the ordinance violates the state preemption statute. I remember a while back when I was pre-ban revolver and some walkers reported to the police. SWAT team at his house, I think 15-ish years. Old farmer across the way, nowhere. Had a pre-ban revolver and some walkers reported it to the police. Pre-ban means it's grandfathered in. He doesn't have to do anything. Right. He needed a better lawyer.
Yeah, but you got to remember, I think that's where he's talking about from the UK.
Oh yeah, they don't like you having any guns in the UK. They
Right.
don't care. And why do you think their knife and hammer crimes are so high? They banned guns. Guns are a tool for use, just like a screwdriver, a hammer, and what have you. A knife, they have a purpose.
Right.
You can take anything and utilize it for evil deeds. The only way to stop evil men is a good man willing to perform evil acts. Yeah, you look at John Wick. He stuck a pencil in some guy's eye.
Right.
A gun.
Anything can be a weapon. Is this pen going to kill somebody?
No, not on its own.
No, but this hand attached to it could.
Let me put this very clearly. There is no such thing as assault weapons. Assault is an action. I can take my phone and beat you over the head with it. That is now an assault phone. That is an assault phone because I beat you over the head with that phone. It is now technically an assault weapon. No gun. Oh, you don't have grandfather rights?
Yeah, that's UK.
Yeah, that's...
And what you was talking about, acid attacks are really high now, where people blowing acid on people.
That would be assault acid.
Yep.
Assault is an action. It is not a defining noun.
Right.
It is not, this is an assault gun. No, it's scary looking. You're offended by it. My dad hates my home defense gun. He thinks that thing looks terrifying. It's got a purpose. It's for home defense. If you break into my house, I'm going to shoot you with that gun. Most likely, unless I grab the 308 and feel a little froggy.
Right. But these laws, like we're talking about, anything can be used. Okay? Are we going to outlaw your cars? Is every time you climb in a car, is that car going to kill somebody or the driver?
The legal definition of assault rifle, rapid-fire magazine-fed automatic rifle designed for infantry use. No AR has ever seen military combat. They were not designed by the military. They're not utilized by the military. They only have one selector switch or two, technically, selector switch locations: safe and fire, which is a single shot. It is not a rapid fire. You can only fire it as fast as your little finger can pull it. Magazine fed. Yeah, we all have magazine feds. It's literally the only thing that lines up with it. AR does not stand for assault rifle. It's Armalite.
Yep.
Armalite rifle, technically. Armalite Rifle, which is the company that designed the AR body. It was never meant or designed or utilized by any military or infantry. That is what makes it an assault rifle. What would be an assault rifle? Would be an M16, an M4, AK-47, as long as it has the automatic function, because the AK-47 was actually designed and utilized by military.
And the M16 was created by a toy company.
Yeah, get that.
Mattel created the very first M16s used in combat.
Why do you think they had so many malfunctioning problems?
Yeah, but the problem was I still had to use them in 1979.
Yeesh.
That's pretty bad when they hand you an M16. You look at it, it says Mattel on it. You go, oh, crap.
However, the next definition down, assault weapon laws do not cover automatics, not assault rifles. According to the Defense Intelligence Agency, assault rifles are short, compact, selective fire weapons that fire a cartridge immediately in power between a submachine gun and rifle cartridges. All assault rifles are capable of automatic fire. So any definition you look up for assault rifle, automatic is in that definition. An AR is not an assault rifle. Get bent. Oh, it's scary looking. Do you realize there is a version of a 22 LR that has 5 or 6 different body styles? Some breaks in your home, you can't do anything until they are upstairs. And if you shoot them with a paintball gun, it's a fine. But if you use that's assault with a firearm, that's 18 up. Oh my God.
That's in the UK.
Oh God.
We're going to have to look up some stuff in the UK.
Yeah. Next week we're doing the UK.
Yeah.
Where was I going?
To show people how stupid the gun laws can get.
Oh yeah. There's a version of an AR that, or not an AR, a 22 LR rifle. I can't remember who made it. But it has different body styles. It has the old wood stock all the way up to an AR frame. And this gun has become the controversy of gun grabbers everywhere because they see the original version where it's the wood stock, straight, no pistol grip, and they're like, "Oh, that's the what you should have as a gun for hunting." And they see the blacked out version with the pistol grip, magazine. It's literally the same ass gun. It does the same function.
It just looks different.
They are terrified of scary looking guns. We are in a society that is so offended by what they see, they think that their feelings matter more than facts.
Exactly right.
No, I'm going to own whatever the hell I want. You have no right to step in and impose bullshit laws on what I want to own. Taxing what I want to own is crap too. Don't get me started on taxes. Founding fathers were stacking bodies for taxes, and we're over here like, yeah, give us more taxes.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the more dumb laws that I know for guns is this grip right here can't go on an AR pistol. You can't have a vertical foregrip on an AR pistol. You have to have a triangular, a thumb stop, something like that. You cannot have a vertical foregrip on your gun. Why? What does the grip have to do with the functionality of the gun other than a little bit of stability for it? This is more comfortable than this for me. Yeah, we'll probably bring you onto the show.
Yeah. Between now and next week, Doozy, look me up on Facebook, Carl Albertson, and that way I can send you a link. Let me know you've seen the show under that name there, and I can send you a link next week to come live on here with us on the show.
Yeah. Or that, or find the Second Amendment Ranch page and then send us a message through there. We'll get you the information.
Right. We'll get you on here one way or the other.
So by the definition stated that you can find, easy, assault rifle is any automatic weapon designed for infantry use. Gun grabbers, ARs, are not automatic or designed for infantry use.
Mm-hmm.
You like how I did that?
I loved how you did that. And folks, if you like this show, share it out. Tell your friends about it. We're here every Monday night, 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time. find us on the Second Amendment Ranch. You can find us on the Bill of Rights Network Facebook page. A lot of different things, but share the show out. Let
Facebook
people
hates
know.
us. Facebook hates the hell out of us.
Oh yeah, they do. But share it out, and like I said, we love interacting with the people in the chat room.
We do this for y'all. I love doing it, but I do it for y'all. You know, education is important. The reason I really wanted to start, I've always wanted to have my own ranch and do gun stuff like this and train people, especially hearing, you know, they're opening up more simulations, but they're only for first responders, military and police, stuff like that. The average civilian can't get that course. So that's what really wanted me to push to advance the range more. But what made me want to educate people is I have plenty of personal experience with firearms that would scare most people. Like my taking my mom shooting was she wouldn't keep, you know, breaking blue is bad. Don't turn your gun too far each side. She had that problem. My father's not very comfortable with guns, so I want to educate people so that way when they get put in a situation, they know how to handle it. And that's going to be the full purpose of the ranch if we can get it up and running, is the education and betterment for the people and utilize and putting you in scenarios that no other company can do. So if you want to defend your home, we can sit you in a situation that is similar to your home, and you have to defend yourself from an intruder. And we have plans for how we can set that up and make it appropriate and get you comfortable. So that way, if you're not a real gun enthusiast, you have a gun to defend your home, and you want to be more comfortable, we can put you in that situation. If you're not, you don't actively sweep your house, you're not putting yourself in situations in your head where you defend yourself, but you want some education, you don't know how to go about it, we can provide that for you.
Right. And Dozy, okay, you don't use Facebook. Join the show next week, and I will put the link in the chat room and everything. That way, all you got to do is copy that link and open it up in Chrome, and you'll come to the show. So make sure you watch and tune in next Monday night as we talk about the UK laws. And I'll make sure I get you on here somehow.
Yeah, we'll get you in here.
Yeah.
But, that's our time, y'all. We appreciate y'all coming out, checking out the ranch. If you like the show, don't forget we do have a website. We do have merch. Mr. Carl, can you get the merchandise posted real quick?
Okay, let's see here.
Where is it? There we go. Where'd you go? I lost my host.
You hate it when you hit the one button.
I'm like, well, look up. I'm trying to find what we give away and stuff, and I'm like, where the hell is Carl at?
Yeah.
Oh
man.
So
Okay.
you can buy merchandise to help out the show. You can buy merchandise to help us get the ranch started. We also do have a donation website where if you go and donate, if you give $25, we're going to get you a sticker sent out. $50 will get you a free patch or shirt. $100 will get you a month membership free. $500 will get you a 5-month membership with all the rest of that. $500 will get you the shirt, sticker, patch, all that with the 5-month anniversary or 5-month membership, as well as a pay-per-view subscription for a year for when we do have the ranch up and going. You can watch all the footage free at that point in time because there will be footage that is free to the public, as well as footage that is going to be paid per view. We're going to have the footage of bloopers be free, but the actual interactions on the ranch is going to be paid per view. And then $1,000 gets you a year membership at the ranch, but that is the only membership you can have renewed. That one you can pay $1,000 a year and continuously come to the ranch as much as you want.
Right. And let's see, I should have. Okay. At the bottom is the link going across for the sweatshirt, the pullover. As soon as I get it pulled back up here. Okay, that's the link right there going across.
And can you go over that with the magnifier and show them what the logo looks like?
Okay, let me see.
There you go.
Can you see that?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So we are looking at making more merchandise. I'm waiting on Carl to get me a photo sent over so I can get that to an artist and have him design us some more
Right.
shirts and more stuff like that. We're going to be providing more as we go along. We're currently working on a website right now, and we will have the link and the donation link there as well. We are also going to have, once we get more merch, that'll be where you can go and find it.
Yeah, it'll be on the
what we did.
website.
So
Yeah, I'll get with Cameron this week, and we're going to work on this website and get it better. And
So keep track, listen for the website. Once we get it up and running, we'll do an announcement there on that. And then once we get more merch, you'll be able to see everything we've had made for y'all posted there as well.
And we also have a spot fund set up. It's /H6PVD. That if they would like to donate to the Second Amendment Ranch, they can go to spot fund and type in that /H6PVD, and it'll lead them right to it.
Yeah.
So
keep track of that. We'll keep you updated as we go along, and look forward to interacting with another guest next week, talking about UK gun laws. I'm sure that'll be
that ought to be really interesting.
making fun of Chicago wasn't enough. We got to go make fun of other countries.
Well, the biggest thing is make fun of it, but also to show if we don't keep up on our Bill of Rights, the Second Amendment in the United States, this is what could end up happening. Because I know their laws are pretty stiff and rigid over there.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. As always, we appreciate you coming out and checking out the show. If you have a gun you want to talk about, you want us to talk about, yes, I do have a Discord. I actually have 2 Discords. Shit.
I got to check Discord out. I don't know much about it.
So if you want the Second Amendment Ranch Discord, 2NR, I put that in wrong. Copy link. Mr. Carl, I am putting that in the
Private chat.
private chat. You'll have to get that posted. That's for the Second Amendment Ranch Discord. Yeah, I gotta update that name.
Copy.
There's not a lot of information on that right now, but that's how you can get a hold of me directly. If you need to talk about anything, any questions, any comments, concerns, bitches, gripes, rights, last alibis, stuff like that, you can hit me up in that Discord right there. I'll answer.
Yeah,
all your
there's
questions.
the Discord in the chat.
It's very basic right now. I haven't really messed with it. It was more meant for me to put topics and articles in there for me to keep track of. Now that I have people that actually want to interact with the Discord, I'll be editing that to help y'all out later on as well. I'll get the link for the Teesprings posted in there and the link for the donation fund posted as well. So that's posted there for y'all. Any questions, you can post it in the general. I'll have more chat rooms probably by the end of the night for y'all. So look for that. Any information, I'll get the website link posted when it's actually up and running. So I'll have that all set up for y'all when I'm done. But as always, we appreciate y'all coming out on these Mondays. I keep thinking it's Sunday. Coming and joining. I love getting the interaction with the viewers, especially seeing somebody from the UK interacting. That's phenomenal to me.
And
Yeah,
that just shows you our show goes worldwide.
So be sure we also have a Spotify that you can go and check out and listen to the previous shows as well. So if you want to check that out, you
Right. Go to anchor.fm and look under Second Amendment Ranch, and it'll have a lot of the episodes on there.
If you want us to talk about any states, counties, countries, laws, any gun you're interested in, any guns you own, stuff like that, anything Second Amendment related, send it to me. I'll talk about it. I don't care. But love seeing it. We love having y'all interact, and we look forward to seeing you next week. As always, I'm Cameron.
And I'm Carl. We'll see you next week.
And we'll see you next week at the Second Amendment Ranch.